minutes.
I
And having 80 ounces of malt liquor in your belly, even for a guy like that was long. I was
Oh,
a
yeah.
busy man when I did that, but
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the As Yet Untitled Conrad Show. This is episode 27 or 28.
Yes.
I'm doing sound check. All right, name of the game tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with Joe Means and Big Mike, and please don't touch the table. And don't knock the table because that's gonna max my shit out. We're here at a closed Waystone pizza place. I came in amid a complete disaster. They're switching their point of sale system over tactically during the beginning of spring break, and yeah, it doesn't work.
It works, just not right.
It doesn't work, and there was a failure of planning, and we don't need to revisit that.
You want to call listens to your shit, I'm going to get fucking crucified.
I said we don't need to revisit it. Anyway, marker. Well, shit, gentlemen, welcome to the show. Restaurant's closed. We're not getting copyright infringed on this episode. I'm pretty stoked. Open mic's canceled. That's kind of a bummer, but you know, it is a bummer.
I usually have to work a double on Monday, and we were just slow because of the weather. So as I was leaving,
You don't think that has anything to do with spring break?
And it has a lot to do with spring break.
Okay, all right. So don't say the
Spring
weather.
break but we're an entirely outdoor season.
Oh, right, because you're out in the.
We have like a wall, like kind of a mesh that we can drop. We have heaters, but it's not going to be busy. So when I was going to take my break, I was like, hey, I don't have to come back if you don't want me to. And they're like, you don't have to.
Well, hell yeah. Originally, the podcast was supposed to be like me, Kyle Rill, Joe Means with kids. I was going to open up by saying, like, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Conrad Show. We got 3 layers of family planning in the house tonight. One who's happily married.
Yeah.
One who's...
Everybody's happily married. That's what we call it.
Yes.
My wife is she's on this control freak thing. She's been on for almost 9 years, and she's making me do a planner now, like a family calendar. And I put this open mic on my calendar for it to be canceled. Now I just
Oh, piss.
now I've got vacancies now.
Okay, so like let's hold on. What's the flip side of that? Is she at least like timely and like on top of it, or is she just setting like a calendar? Okay, so like anytime I've had a boss, you know, like I try to assess whether or not like they were just making shit up to yell at me about on the spot, or if they actually had some idea of what they're doing. And what I ended up starting to do, and I still do to this day, is I do stuff wrong on purpose so that whoever's paying for the project gets to feel involved with the creative process.
Yeah.
You know, like
You gotta get
if your wife is asking for a planner, you know, does she ever like, you know, do you ever give her something? And then no?
I don't ask anybody for anything.
Domestic bliss.
Yeah, I'm just here. I'm trying not to be one of those like do as you're told type guys.
Mm.
I'm fighting back, bro.
No, I usually don't.
I'm on the front lines. I'm fighting back.
Yep. That's good. That's good.
We still have like 3 though, right? We have like in love, living with a girlfriend, in love, happily married, and divorce with this crushing loneliness. You know.
Well, I don't know. I
But
might.
That's not even true. I make that joke a lot, but I tell people I got a divorce so I can be happy, and that's the truth. You know, I
Well,
wasn't
yeah,
happy.
no, and I wish my parents had done something like that because I still got to deal with them. And
It's crazy 'cause, my parents have like a great relationship.
really,
Yeah, I've never seen my parents argue.
really,
You know what I'm saying? Like, never. I'm
I've never
saying that
seen them.
Yeah, I'm not saying that they don't argue, but
Right.
we've never seen it. Like, we grew up, and so like everybody thought we were gonna have this happy ending like my parents, and like nobody's figured it out.
Well, dude, like, tell me what you think about this. Like, you know, as Americans, we're probably only like 200 years removed from what was. I mean, if you look at it now, it's basically arranged marriages.
Yeah.
Like the big farm families up in Minnesota that I came out of, like, you know, like we're talking about like more than 10 kids. We're talking about like big ass farms. We're talking about free labor, and we're talking about making it through the winter.
Yeah.
What do you call that? All right. So like, the funny thing about that is that like the divorce rate in India is way less than 50%. You know, and the thing is like, I guess the question is like, you know, is the concept of finding the one a real thing, or is the idea of having two people in a more business relationship?
Contract, bro.
Yeah, right. Because,
I mean,
you know,
that's why marriages and stuff be falling apart because it wasn't really built on nothing.
if you got two people that just want to like make the bet, like, well, right.
Not real.
Well, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that, like, you know, the satisfaction that comes from, you know, being successful. I mean, like, people in arranged marriages don't get divorced. Yeah.
But
Like,
maybe
stop.
because-
Like,
maybe-
that's.
maybe because of the nature, like, 'cause it's an arranged marriage. They both come in with the idea.
Well, there's
that
a
they
ton
have
of,
to,
like,
they have to work at it.
family
right?
shit.
Whereas,
Well,
whereas some
right.
people are caught in emotion and love, and then they get married.
And then that
the
leaves,
work
and then
comes
they
no
have to,
matter
like,
what.
and then they have to go seek it out again.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I saw something. It
Well,
might have
it's
been
still
a.
out there, though. It's still out there.
Well,
It's a real thing.
It might have been a TikTok that infected me, but somebody was talking about like polyamory as though like everybody's basically like trying to bang as many people as they can because they're trying to justify a love for themselves, which makes sense to
Yeah.
me. Like they're trying to prove it every day that they're a hot piece, and that like the real challenge is from making that from scratch with somebody that you.
Sex used
Yeah.
to sex used to mean something. You know what I mean? Like it used to be like a special thing.
Well, I mean, like I don't know, like.
I don't mean nothing no more.
I'm 32 and I don't have any kids, and I moved to Arkansas when I was like 19 to meet a bunch of people my age that had kids. You know, like I mean, like not to. Well, I mean, I don't know. Ayla Sinclair seems to be doing fine. You know, like what's really funny is like there's another guy who plays bass in a couple local bands that was like, is that Ayla Sinclair? I knew her in high school. She was the babe, and I was like, oh, okay, that checks out.
Babe.
Yeah.
My mom is the babe.
Well, I mean, anybody can be the babe, I guess.
Yeah, I have a good story about polyamorous relationships.
Yeah.
Last weekend, I had a coworker. He thought he was in a polyamorous relationship for 2 years,
Mhm.
and then his girlfriend showed up on the job to let him know he'd been cheating on her this whole time.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I guess they had like one kind of like threesome with a girl. Then I guess he thought it was just poly after that.
And then he kept banging the chick.
Yeah.
And then that-
Yeah. I don't know how. I haven't seen him since.
See, like, I feel like I got. Well, Joe, what you got?
I feel like people look at cheating just like I feel like they just put it in a bad light. You know what I mean? Like having two of anything is acceptable. You know what I'm saying? You can get a double cheeseburger.
Mm.
Your Twix comes in two. Reese's come in two. Everything comes in two. But then we're like, oh, I love her, can only be one. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, I personally don't have time,
That's another thing.
like, for that. Like, the emotional needs of just one regular. Like, and it'll never be good enough, and you can't. I'm marking it. And
Yeah.
we're gonna put trombone hits over that. Speaking of trombone, y'all know Ross Harris, the newest
Yeah,
open micer, who
yeah.
looks like who's capably violent and like very attractive.
Yeah.
Army right. He actually plays trombone.
You know, you never seen anybody doing a trombone air solo. Like you get like an air guitar, you get an air drum. You don't never get the air drum.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess it's too easy to misinterpret. Yeah.
But no, Ross is super talented, bro. Like he plays, like he's the guy that's playing the drums on his steering wheel at the red light. Like he's got real drums.
No, he's always going. That guy.
Yeah.
Nah.
He's super talented, super talented.
Sometimes when I look at Ron, he's just like so good looking, and I don't know why he's at the open mics. Like if I looked like Ross, I said Ron.
Well,
If-
there's.
if I looked like Ross, I'd just be somewhere having sex with a woman I just met.
I feel the same way about like the music.
Yeah.
I'm having one night stands everywhere.
Everyone,
Yeah.
well, I don't know. I mean, like, well, I mean, you see the girls that he brings to to his own stuff, but no, he knows.
Super talented though.
Ross Hogg. Anyway,
Yeah, no.
no, like he sells it on OnlyFans to gay dudes. Like that's certified huge dong territory.
Yeah,
Like
he doesn't brag about his dick quite a bit.
he doesn't
so-
brag about it. He just talks about it.
Is he really?
He
Yeah.
just yeah.
I've never heard.
Yeah, I introduced
Really?
him. I was like, on disability, on OnlyFans, ladies and gentlemen, And like the funny thing about that is like here's a guy who seems like he's got everything. He's got like, like a resume, Army Ranger. He's got the broken nose, but he's still hot like the French films. And then he's got this massive dong that gay people are willing to buy pictures of. That's huge, right? And he still needs everybody's approval.
Yeah.
And that's one of the. I mean, that's one of the common through lines with like most of the comedians that I've met, especially open micers. And I don't even know if like that is considered talking shit on the
Can we
guy.
talk about open micers for a minute?
Yeah, let's go for it.
It's been burning.
Because I've been thinking about like, okay, so I don't have the best relationship with everybody, but I've been thinking about just like to promote this, to go to their things and tell them about how I'm talking shit about them,
Yeah.
and then see like whatever fallout comes from it. Because like I'm not discouraging anybody, but I mean that is something that comes up, like. And I think it's bullshit. It's like, because, like, if you're looking at somebody who is just so shaky-legged in this new art form that is publicly, like, like, people fear worse than death on average, to then go in and criticize whatever the fuck that they're doing is kind of like going to the 4th grade science fair and knocking over all the fucking, like, exhibits because it's not fucking accurate. It's like you're being a dick. And I don't know. I feel like there's a way to be an asshole where you can repel the people that you don't need in your life whilst simultaneously attracting the people that can appreciate you. And as somebody that has an out, like being able to play guitar for 4 hours and sing, like, there's just some stuff that I see that is completely unnecessary. So, talking about open micers.
Open micers, I love the open mics. I love the platforms. I love the space that people can come and express themselves and do their comedy, whether their goal is just to be an open micer or they're trying to do something more. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What I don't like is how saturated the open mic market is now. You know what I'm saying? To where it used to be 10, 15 comics.
Yeah.
Now it's 30, 25.
Everybody wants to get into it. Now, here's the thing, dude. Like, that is indicative of success for an open mic, because you're talking about open mic, and what you are being frustrated by is the fact that you have to figure out a different way to do what you want to do, and that's a natural part of the progression. Because like, the thing about comedy shows, the thing about one person talking into a microphone for a crowd of people is that there is a expiration date on everybody's attention span. Even when you go into the Grove and they put your phone in a bag and you're not allowed to think about stuff like that. Like I saw Carlos Mencia go up there and he did a 2-hour set. After the opener did 10 and after the middle did 20, he went up there and he went past the post. And like, Carlos Mencia, regardless of wherever that stuff came from, is an incredible entertainer, is a guy who has been doing it for 30 years, and that's impossible to ignore when you see him, regardless of how you feel about him. Okay? So, if there's like a Jedi Master out there that like exhausts people, because like if you're at a show in a comedy club, you want the start to be here and you want the end to be here. But in my experience, having done like longer shows than that, when Dave Chappelle goes up on stage and talks for fucking 4 hours, it starts here, gets here, goes back down here, and then here, and then and whenever somebody goes over the peak of whatever people are able to pay attention to, if you're a comedy club owner, you want people to leave smiling, energetic, ready to wanting more. If you give them more than that, they leave tired, exhausted. Like mission accomplished, sure, but they're going home and going to bed. Like, and that's why I look at comedy as a musician as like a means to like start the party. Like when Hannibal Buress comes to town, he doesn't open with the band and then like close by talking. He does 45 minutes by himself, and then he introduces the whole band. Like Steve Martin, like reading his biography, like one of the things that he got upset with was he was doing these shows in these arenas, and like you know, he's got his closer, and the closer is that this guitar comes down from the ceiling. He plays one note and then it goes back up. And on this night, the guitar didn't come down, and he's like reaching for it, and the crowd goes bananas. But he gets pissed off because he wants them to laugh at what he's doing, at his act, not at him. But the thing about that is, like, at a certain point in scale, you're really just hosting a party. And what's a party all about? The people you came with. So, like, you know, that's why, like, comedy shows should be in little rooms, should be low ceilings.
Small rooms,
Yeah, should be like
small crowds,
like-
intimate crowds.
like tight, like
Bro, like when you do,
everybody's like
small
against
room,
each other, like,
yeah,
cause
pop, that's way better than being in a big room. Like I've never done like an arena, like, so I don't know.
well,
I
no,
don't
I mean, like
experience
the
it.
best room in my the best room
Robin's is like the biggest room I've done. You know.
best room in my experience is a full room. It doesn't matter what the size of it is, and that's why I love the Kava Bar so much. That's why I love Club 509, so that we can advertise this, I guess.
You
Like,
get a laugh in 509, bro.
and it
Yeah,
echoes
when you-
off of the,
when you
yeah,
have
you
a crowd-
feel it.
I don't know what it is about me, but when they put me on the flyer at 509, nobody shows up.
I don't
Every
know.
time-
I don't think that's about you, man.
Every
You're a
time
funny
I
motherfucker.
do a show at 509, bro, I'm telling you, it's 7 people in there. Me, the other 4 comedians, and like.
I mean, how do you, that's, now you're getting into like how do you advertise a product that nobody
But no, I go
knows
on
what
other-
it is.
I
Like,
go on other nights. Like I go on other Fridays. I go watch other people.
get a guest spot, and it's like,
And they be packed. Like
Dude.
Seth, not Seth. Chase Miska did a show. I think it was his birthday.
he's got a bunch of friends out here. Yeah, dude.
It was him, Andy Davis.
Kyle Gilbert,
No, Kyle Gilbert wasn't there at this
Sam
one.
Price.
Sam Price hosted.
Fuck yeah.
It was
Fuck yeah, dude.
it
That's
was
a good show.
somebody else. The lineup was crazy, but the room was so packed, bro. I'm talking about like we in there like this.
Well, dude, and that's the thing is like room being packed there is like 40
I
people.
know.
Like,
But
and
they
that's
were
like,
in there though.
yeah.
And then I'm like, all right, bet I'm up here next week. I know they gonna show up.
Yeah.
5 people. I'm like, bro, I hate y'all, man.
No,
hate
I
everybody in
mean,
this room.
no, I mean, like, okay, so I did a gig recently with a guy, and we booked this room out in Tulsa, and we got there 2 hours early to find out that the venue had done none of the advertising on their end. Like, the formula for successful, like local shows as a guy that isn't on fucking Netflix is as follows. Like, you need support from the venue owner, somebody who's gonna like, you know, like I did this gig, not talking about you, Brian. Did this
You're
gig.
awesome, Brian.
I did this gig at this.
So not paying attention.
That's fine. No, yeah, please don't. I did this gig at this barbecue place, and you know, one of the employees that worked there was on the show. It was Keith Terry. You know, Keith Terry's whole advertising scheme is to go to town a week before, like every night, get off work, drive to fucking Joplin, tell everybody that you fucking meet, the ice cream man, the milk, like anybody, that you're a comedian, right? I got to that show in Joplin, and I'm getting off track here. I got to that show in Joplin. I was like, "You guys ready for the headline?" I'm like, "Yeah." Anybody heard of this guy before? They're like, "What the fuck?" Everybody's here, and you've never seen this guy before. All right, well, you're in for a fucking treat. Strap in, you know. But getting back, like, support from the venue owner is huge, because, like, when I was working the barbecue place, you know, I'll open the show and I'll play songs and I'll do it just like the open mic. Like, we'll wait until everybody's ready. And he would be telling me stuff like, you know, let's wait until, you know, Doris at Table 28, who comes in every Tuesday, would get her meatballs. And you were on a couple of those shows.
Oh,
Yeah, and you know, once she's ready to go, we can start. You know, that's the attention to detail that you need to have something like that go off well. Like one of the first times I met Keith Terry, he did something that I'd never seen before, and it was right before fucking Matt Rife was about to pop off on TikTok with crowd work videos. He greeted every single person walking into the building, okay, and learned their name and how you doing, you know, yada.
How you doing stuff like that?
He then did crowd work on every single person in the room with callbacks to Josh and Sarah and
People love
blah.
that.
And he wove it all together. And that was his whole, like, you know, he might have told like 3 jokes, but his whole thing was just like,
People like now, the whole like crowd work era. I mean, people been doing crowd work, but right now, bro, they love it. Like if you're not
Yeah.
doing it,
well, one of the things, people expect to be
thinking
part of the
about-
show.
I've been thinking about using an open mic. I mean, sometimes there's crowd work because I get mentioned from the stage by other comedians. I talk back, but I've been watching a guy on Jeff Akura, and he's all crowd work, right? And it's ridiculous how funny he is, you know.
I'm telling you.
So I don't know. It's been something about, I've never really done it before. You know, why not take 5 minutes to try it out?
I
You
mean,
almost can't miss with crowd work as long as you're not just seriously cutting someone down.
Yeah.
here's the problem.
No, you
like,
want to make it fun for the people you're talking to.
here's- well,
not
right,
just
so-
everyone around them.
one of the things, like whenever I first got into stand-up, however many years, like 5-6 years ago, biggest thing was like the Netflix special, right? And you see a bunch of guys that look like you doing like racial commentary and like, you know, black belt level stuff, and then your first joke is like, here's the old black people, oh, nobody likes me. You know, I get to see a lot of people make that same fucking mistake now, like with Matt Rife and with the crowd work thing, and I'm like, yeah, no, I mean, it is a fun tool to use. It's just that, you know, as the host of an open mic, if we've got all open micers and we have 4 regular people, that is a decent fucking audience. Because after going to like Austin and after going to LA and just being in a room, no matter what the size, with however many people, if it's exclusively guys who are going to get on stage, then it is not as fun. And the last thing that I need is a bunch of like, you know, white belt wannabe Matt Rife fucks, like, you know, because if nobody, like, okay, so, you know, I've been to other open mics. Everybody's not, you know, they're tired of everybody else's comedy. They're all smoking cigarettes, you know. If everybody came in and did crowd work whilst not listening to this shit, you know, then like, hey, honey, remember the time we came to the bar, got interrogated by those weirdos? Like, that is what the experience would be. And then they wouldn't come back. Like, so, I don't know.
How do you feel doing material, like new material stuff that you're really trying to get a good feel on? How do you feel about doing that in a room full of comics?
It's bitten me in the ass really, really hard before. Textbook example. So there's this guy out of Little Rock, and I think he's in Atlanta right now. Shout out to Day So Funny. And he did this thing called the Night Owl. And the Night Owl is an Apollo-style comedy show, quote unquote. And what that means is there's audience participation encouraged. Like,
They'll boo you and stuff.
yes, if they don't like you, you know,
The same
they'll
man
shake your
shoots
keys.
yeah.
They'll shake their keys, and if they don't like you more, they'll hoot like an owl. And if they don't like you more, there's a person in an owl costume comes dances you off, and there's a DJ like shaming you. And yeah, the first time I went to it, it was fucking awesome. I went disc golfing like the day before. I accidentally bumped into these hippies from Little Rock. They're like, yeah, we'll come to your show tomorrow, you know? And I went there, and I just did like straight stand up. I was like one of the last acts, and you know, if you do really good, they're encouraged to like ball up dollar bills and throw them at you. So I'm like, I got AIDS, don't fuck me, and they loved it. And you know, like I see the light, I hit the full 5 minutes. It was kind of like a rodeo, you know, because you get to watch other people fail and you psych yourself out, and it's just a confidence game. But yeah. First time I went, it was me in the winner's circles with, you know, 3 other black dudes that were at least a foot taller than me. And then the second time I went, I brought my guitar, and I went to an open mic and tried out this new joke. I'm an unregistered sex offender, but I didn't need to tell you that. You can just tell. And it crushed at the comic predominant open mic. I then go, and this is after like I plugged my guitar in for the second time I'm coming back. I'm like, I'm gonna get that fucking trophy, like wait till they see this shit, like I did sound check for myself. I'm like, like giving tips to the DJ and shit. Like, yeah, I get up on stage, I open up with the same line, that crushed in the comics room. And it was a weird situation. So like, there was one lady that went up before me. She kind of like weaseled her way into the show, begged Day So Funny to put her up, and then he put her up, and then she didn't do very well, and then Day has to go up there, and D has to go up there and remind everybody that, hey, if you don't like this, you gotta let them know. So then I open up with my stupid fucking line, and it splits the room because like half the room is laughing, and half the room, like everybody's like wife is like jingling their keys, and and I got played off like fucking a minute in after.
I wanted to do that when they were doing those, man. I wanted to do that so bad. I was in Memphis at the time, and I would hear about them, and I was like, man, I want to just go up there just to see.
Dude, they were fucking rad. They were so sick. A lot of like, I don't know. I sort of wish that like most open mics were like that, because I don't know, like you wouldn't get as much time.
Yeah.
But anytime you fucked around up there, you would be punished. And that is exactly what people need to like.
Yeah, like that's some.
Oh, what else? Boo!
That's
like,
some thick skin. You gotta have some, and I feel like.
well, that's the
So,
sport.
With my open mic, I always try to throw like some type of challenge, some type of something. So it's just not the same as you.
Sorry for not coming to those.
No, I know it's late. You'll be tired. I'll be tired. I'm always trying to throw
Marker.
a challenge. Do something different. Like I want to see comedians that I see every day.
Do something different.
Do something different.
Exactly. Do something new every day. Right.
My boy Brandon Devine.
Yes.
He does. Like Brandon Devine is hilarious, bro. He does this set at Duke Province, right? And it is his normal Brandon Devine.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Then he comes over to my mic and he does the same 5 minutes. And I'm finishing his jokes. I'm like, yo, we heard this.
Taylor Swift is a Nazi.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm gonna kill you, bitch. But Brandon Devine has balls for doing that. It's just so funny though. But like, I'm tired of seeing that, and I've been trying to tell him, like,
Thank
I
you.
don't want to see that.
Well, I mean,
Do something different. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like,
But come on, the king of the people you don't want to see over and over again has got to be Will, though, right? Will has so much courage.
you
though.
say that,
I'll
you
give
say
this-
that, you say that, but Will is actually like, okay, so I have figured, I mean, it's happened a couple times like here where I've figured out a way to make, like, he's not crushing the room, but everybody's like,
they're interested.
Yeah, I guess so.
And
And,
now
like-
he's leaving the puppet. And Will is actually funny.
no, he is.
I've
He's
seen him
got
do
like
one-
lines.
I think
He's
he
just,
did one
He's so
set here with no
soft-spoken.
puppet.
he's got the worst social anxiety
Yeah, he's
that
just
of
like,
anybody. Like, dude, no, we went out to like Bugsy's with that guy, and like just to watch him like try to like talk to other people, it was just you could see the fear had him. It was like, wow.
Will, he's gonna lose his mind.
It was me and Will and Ross, and then like two other guys. Yeah, it was just a barrel of monkeys. It
Will,
was.
Will is he's actually funny.
He's a good writer.
But it's just like, I think he like loses people on the puppet, and then it's like, I don't know, like I'm not a ventriloquist, so I can't tell you how to do the
Yeah.
thing. But like you gotta like it's a conversation with the you gotta make
Yeah.
it look real. You know what I'm saying?
Well, there's
I've
this.
seen a ventriloquist. I've only seen one guy do it live, and it was like right after COVID, and dude was hilarious because he had the mask on.
Yeah. Oh God.
You can obviously see his mouth.
Blah 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 blah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the conversation he was having with the puppet was so funny.
Right on. You didn't care.
Like you didn't even so like he's doing the joke and then the puppet will be like, "You jackass!" They see you moving your mouth behind the mask, and he's just like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
but like just the way he was carrying on the conversation, it was so funny. So
Yeah.
that's the only thing that I think that Will is really missing. It's just like you
Well, it's always, I mean, the big thing is it's the same voice, Will
Yeah.
and the puppet, right? So I always just think the puppet having a different voice is just like the jumping off point of being
Yeah.
a puppeteer, right? You know? Yeah, I hosted last week at Nomads, and he called me on stage for part of his act, and for most of it I was just completely confused.
Oh yeah.
I was trying, and there is kind of this ongoing thing about his puppets throwing game at me,
Yeah.
but you know, and
That wizard wanted Jade real bad.
he said at least 3 of them have thrown game at me, and I've told him like so far I'm just committed to having sex with humans only. But yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Like, as far as like, my theory on like a bunch of artists banging each other is usually not very productive. That's the Fleetwood Mac School of Business. That's how I inherited all of my equipment. It's like,
How you feel about meme jokes?
I don't like those. No, dude, you write your own shit.
Yeah, people do
What
meme
it,
jokes.
and that's okay. So like, yeah, every once in a while, it feels like I'm everybody's dad as the host at the fucking open mic. And there's a fine line between like, you know, trying to host a party and then being everybody's therapist. And like one time somebody did crowd work at the thing and you find out that 2 of these guys have been in comas, one of them has been decapitated, and he's sitting there talking to you. And then it's like, oh fuck. These are my peers. Shit. What's wrong with me?
I was talking to a comedian friend of mine yesterday, and I was like, I'm not an a-hole. I don't want to be an a-hole.
Yeah.
But I feel like somebody has to be like, all right, man, no more meme jokes.
Well, you have to acknowledge, right?
Like, you
No,
gotta-
and that's why, like, I don't know. Like, I see like a bunch of at a bunch of other open mics that do a disclaimer. Hey, don't do any racist, xenophobic, blah 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 blah. And then it's like, I mean, yeah, obviously, like, why does it doesn't need to be said? Like anybody who's saying that, I feel like the punishment for doing poorly on stage, saying the wrong thing, being an asshole, is exactly what that person needs in the moment to correct that behavior. At least that's worked for me. I used to tell a bunch of off-color abortion jokes. Oop, marker. And then
The one that always cracks me up is when they talk about like no weapons on stage, you know. And I feel like if you're gonna bring a weapon to an open mic, you're probably not gonna listen to the warning. You know what I'm saying? You're not stopping anybody. They're like, oh.
well, that was just because of a prop guy one time brought a grenade and nobody knew if it was real or not. And
I would have freaked everybody
well,
out.
dude, that's part of the show. I feel like.
Crosshairs, he would have tackled him. He would have been Captain America. He would have jumped on it.
Snap into action.
Yeah. But no, man, I really like the comedy scene up here. I feel like there's not enough a-holes. I feel like we need more mean people on the scene.
The observation that I had from so when I went to Little Rock, met up with Zane and his crew, like before the worst bombing I'd ever had in my entire life. We did this open mic thing. I'd call it a support group. We did it a couple times at Kava Bar because I went. So 4 guys in a living room. Each person has a set, and then for the next 5 minutes, each person goes around the horn and gives input on that set.
Yeah.
And you know, that was more dignified than the actual like $20 gig that I had that night. Yeah, I think about that gig meeting.
I feel like we need that. You know what I'm saying? People need that.
What?
To sit
Excruciating failure? Oh yeah.
Sit around other comics, say your set, like really write like writing sessions. 'Cause,
Well,
like,
so-
you got people who write.
I've said it before, but like, so at one of these support groups that I did after, you know, that thing in the living room in Little Rock, Mike Moreau, he was one of the guys. It was him and Lyle King and and I think like 2 other guys, and you know, I talked to Mike. I was like, Mike, if I told you that you sucked, you'd still come back next week, right? It's like, yeah. I'm like, well, dude, kind of suck. Like, you gotta start harder. You gotta get to the joke. You gotta like shorten the story.
Yeah.
Record your stuff, edit it, shorten it. That's, you know, and now, like, he's not somebody that I like have to worry about at all in the lineup because he's pretty good. Like, and you know,
But
that's.
we need that though, 'cause I feel like
Well, my rule is that I don't give anybody any actual feedback until they keep showing up after a year. Then I will express what I honestly think. Because there was one person.
when you roll up with the sticky notes.
Well, there was one person that was like, you know, it was their first time hosting. They'd been, doing comedy for like 4 or 5 months, and then, did I do good? And then I was like, well, you could have, like shortened it up and just said the person's name and go, I did bad. And then that was their takeaway from the thing. I was like, all right.
I really just felt like, man, like, I'm a product of tough love. I was always.
No, I mean, that is dying, though.
Yeah, but cause I feel like sometimes, like, I'll do a set, and, like, I just feel like I did absolutely terrible. But, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna have those days, and I'm just like, you get off the mic, and everybody's like, oh, awesome set, bro, you did so good, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, no, I didn't, you know what I mean? And, like,
Yeah, no, I got kind of the same thing. It's like,
I'm trying to tell people good set. It's like saying good game, good game, good game.
My girlfriend-
Like,
my-
you gotta be a good sport. Like, nah, man, like, I hate you right
my
now.
girlfriend gave me a compliment. I'm like, oh, that was great, babe. I'm like, what is it?
My wife, she be keeping it funky with me all the time, man. Like, I'll do a show.
What
she'll
the
be like,
hell?
This person was better than you. Or this
Sorry.
person-
We might get that on camera. All right. There's just a guy wandering around with an acoustic guitar.
Yeah, he
Who's
was
not
playing,
me.
He was playing air drums when I came walking up.
He's got a
Oh.
baby.
Yeah.
For them is they,
I had a question for you. I saw your post today.
As the what now?
they were attractive homeless couple.
Oh, the used to be attractive homeless couple. We got bum drama. All right.
I saw your post today about your writing session. Was it Lucas
Yeah,
Smith?
Lucas
His name?
Smith,
Yeah, I was wondering. I mean, in general, I had a question about for both of you guys because you guys have been at it a lot longer than me. Like, do you have like a disciplined time where you're like, hey, I'm gonna write comedy now?
Yeah, how'd that work? Did he
I
call you?
tried
Yeah.
to. So
Also, like,
Lucas.
Will he
Lucas
take
Smith.
weed?
No. Lucas
right?
Smith-
Yeah, some kind of trade.
If you've ever heard this guy perform,
No, yeah. No, I've
He's
seen
like-
him a
he's
bunch of
alright.
times.
he's good.
No,
Yeah.
he's
So
like a theater kid.
yeah.
He's like a
Well,
6'8"
he's-
theater kid.
He's just hustling right now. He's trying to do comedy full time. So I'm just kind of like, support.
You can do comedy full time without. Like, here's the thing. My observation is, well, okay, in my experience, having been a starving artist as like a painter, and I could show you some shit that looks like some fucking paintings, guys. Like my mom asked me, 10 years after I quit doing, how come you quit doing it? I was like, well, you forgot the whole conversation that we had about living hand to mouth your entire life. Like, there is no, like, in my opinion, to be a starving artist is an exercise in self-indulgence. Like, making your own life suck worse than it has to in the effort of pushing towards this thing doesn't make sense to me. You can do more stuff. No, and I'll take it further. So, like, in my experience trying to start bands, all right? I'm a guy that works a full-time job trying to start a band as the front man, writing the fucking songs, teaching the parts to other people, all right? And I'm talking to this other guy who's about my age who doesn't have anything to, like, he doesn't have a job. His mom and dad take care of, like, rent and bills, despite the fact that he doesn't have a degree. He's got all the time in the fucking world, and I don't. And I get more done than him because I don't have as much time.
Yeah,
So I guess my question for you about your session with Lucas was, was he familiar with your material? Then he was like showing you ways to tighten it up, or were you actually creating like original stuff during that 30 minutes?
I already had some stuff that I was working on, some stuff that I had never really said out loud, and so I was just running the bits by him.
Gotcha.
Right.
He was just kind of giving me like another look at it, or you know what I'm saying, oh, you can try this, add in little words here and there, take this out. I threw one joke completely away. He was just like, joke probably ain't no good. So I was like, I bet. But it was more of, I mean, it's great to get somebody else's eyes on your material.
Right
You know
on.
what I'm saying, just to kind of
Right.
get a different perspective. But it was more from a sense of just me supporting. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
He's going through what he's going through. He's pushing, trying to, you know what I'm saying, support his dream. And I get what you're saying about like you don't have to do this.
Well,
But
there's
in
ways you
some-
can without
without
doing that.
to yourself. Yeah.
Well, like, okay, so
But
like,
it's just like everybody's got to go through a struggle, man. You know
Well-
what I'm saying? Leonidas had to go on the call to kill the wolf. Like you got to go through something.
well, okay, so
There's a struggle you got to go through.
The quickest way forward for entertainment for me personally was not by promoting myself. It was by giving as many people as a platform as I could to try something. You know, that's my contribution. You know, I don't know. And, you know, maybe I'm a hypocrite. I did that comedy fantasy camp thing. Like, it's just that if you're going to, like, I don't know. Like, comedy, stand-up comedy specifically, is one of the things, if nothing else, that you absolutely cannot teach people.
Yeah, I think it's
You-
same. Go ahead.
Like, there's
You
no...
can, no. You can teach people structure.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? But then it comes.
Right.
It's like teaching speed. Like I do athletic training.
Yeah.
I can teach you form, but speed is like you got it or you don't.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I can get your form right, but if you ain't got the quick twitch muscle fibers or whatever, like I can get you faster.
It's like, I could show you how to sing,
yeah,
but you
ain't-
can't sing.
I can't tell you that you're gonna run 4.2 speed if you do what I'm. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You gotta be born with that. You got it or you don't.
Right.
So funny, I can teach you the structure, because anybody can be funny. But now I give you the structure. Now it's like, can you take that and make something else? You know what I'm
So,
saying?
Rodney Dangerfield used to do two versions of his bits. He'd go up with his notebook and he would just deadpan dry as fuck, just, you know, deliver the lines. And then he'd throw on, if it worked by itself, he'd, you know, put a check mark on it. And then if that worked, you know, he'd then like, blah, 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 you know, put the character on it.
I feel like Deion Cole does that a little bit too.
Hmm?
I feel like Deion Cole does that a little bit too.
Who?
Deion Cole,
Oh, right. Yeah.
like he'll read something off his notebook, like, all right. The next time you see him, like he'll do it.
Act it out. Right. So like you read the comedy Bible.
Yeah.
You know, the act out is a big part of the joke. I don't know, for every rule there's one that gets broken, but like one of the things that I learned like crawling around with the camera for the last few years is you know, you can kind of tell by the look on somebody's face how much experience they have. Like there's a difference between like the 13-year guys and the
Oh, yeah.
2-year guys. Like
Definitely.
they're getting free laughs from being the joke.
Yeah.
You know.
I kind of feel like that's where I'm trying to get to, you know, more facial expressions, longer pauses, just different movements versus just like, because like there's more stuff that's funny about your joke. Like your words aren't the only thing you got. That's not the only weapon.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? You've got all types of things that you can use, but who gonna use them? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And act outs are scary, man.
Well,
Drop into an act out and then nobody.
and then it
gets you.
doesn't work on it.
It's just like you just out there.
I mean, I move around a lot when I'm on stage, but I think that's more me just dealing with my nervousness, right? Like, and I wish that's something like several times I'd be like, all right, tonight's night, you're just gonna sit on a stool and do your routine like that, and then as soon as I'm up there, I'm back to, you know, what's comfortable. But I think I need to be more calm, you know.
Well,
I think sometimes like my nervous energy detracts
Let me
from
run
what
to
I'm
the
trying to
restroom
say.
real quick.
yeah, I think the only thing that you really can do is slow down. You know, if you get a big room, you know, if you're not doing good, if you're or if you're doing really good, I don't know. I guess typically the rule for like bigger and bigger rooms
Yeah,
is that you just slow everything down.
yeah. But I'm always.
I mean,
I'm
I
always
don't
thinking
fucking
about
know.
how I can be doing this better. You know, it's. I was thinking about it on the walk over. It's just really exciting to have something to be excited about. You know, besides cooking. You know, it's always been cooking for me for my whole life.
Well, dude, and that's one of the things that I like about stand-up is that it puts you in touch with just like the most eclectic group of people that you could even fathom, and have something in common with those guys. Like shout out to Trash Hyena in Tulsa, the hardest working homeless man in show business, dude.
Yeah.
This guy, like, I've got nothing but respect for him because I get to see somebody that I otherwise am kind of like a little bit freaked out by, and I get to like watch him like be great. Like that's so cool because I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like one of the
Here he is.
yeah. But yeah, we were talking about how like one of the coolest things about stand up in my mind is that it puts you in touch with just a bunch of other people that you wouldn't have met otherwise. Yeah.
I really do love, for me, 'cause I'm such a home buddy, so it's really easy for me just to go work, go home, repeat, right? So now, besides the performing, which I do enjoy, I do enjoy the social aspect, right? I'm hanging out with people, most of them like 30 years younger than me, and they're all nice to me because I'm old. And, I like seeing,
Oh, you're funny too, dude.
And they're funny. I love riffing outside,
Yeah.
With nomads, sometimes my favorite part, I'm like, how can we translate that to the stage,
Well,
But
I can speak to that somewhat. Like, two schools of thought. Either you start fucking comedy when you're 16 in order to be like the greatest of all time, or, you start at like 30 with a story to tell.
Yeah, you got
One of the things that puts a really bad taste in my mouth is when I go to like, Los Angeles or Austin and I see like a fucking like a 22-year-old talking about the news. I was like, what the?
yeah.
You didn't
Yeah.
expect
Yeah.
I just like to hear people talk about what they got going on.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
like,
then when you're
that's what I've been
talking-
trying. Like, and that's when I turn into the therapist.
But now, like when you
I'm not interesting.
when you start talking about what you got going on, and then you start to see people's facial reactions, and you start to get a laugh, and you're like, dang, so other people are going through what I'm going through.
Yeah, you're
So
connecting to other people.
That's the best part for me.
And that's true. And man, it's just 5 minutes, right? If I have like a good 5 minutes, when I get home, I'm like, I'm almost like a little kid. Like I can't sleep. I'll be up till like 2 a.m. I'll be writing it. It's
Yeah, you get juice,
ridiculously
dude.
powerful. It's
Well-
like such validation, right? Like I said something funny.
So I used to do like, and
Mark.
and one of the things about stand-up, more so than like painting, more so than like music, is that in order for it to work and work well, is that everybody in the room has to think what I'm thinking the way that I am thinking it.
Yeah.
And that is a drug that you only can earn. And that is, it just feels great. Like, because you can be $25,000 a year guy getting talked to by vintage car racer bro about how much respect he has for you because of, the work that you put in and being able to do something that most people say they want to be able to do. Like,
Just being able to connect with people.
It-
And I think that singing is the craziest talent to have. Like I grew up watching, movies like The Temptations and
Yeah.
Beats and stuff like that. And for someone to be singing and like people are passing out, women are throwing their underwear at you, I would lose my mind.
Yeah.
I would not be able to continue singing. Like I'm like, bro, I've got this much power. Like Michael Jackson, people who just move, Chris Brown, these guys who could just go out there and just.
I should think bigger. Yeah, you're right. I'm just a hairless guy with a girlfriend.
But I'm just
You don't
saying,
need
though,
to.
but when you sing and you see people feeling your music though, like they singing with you, or like you see them like rocking with you,
Dude.
like that's a great feeling.
So that feeling that you're talking about, being able to like telepathically communicate with everybody on a piece of music that everybody knows and everybody's hitting their mark, and you look at this guy and he does that, and then he looks at you and you do this. That is probably just a little bit cooler than comedy.
I'm telling you, it's gotta be.
It's just that I haven't found, and maybe this is just like a shrinking pool of people in my age group. I haven't found a group of dudes that I'd fucking live in a van with.
Man, no,
Like,
that's living in a van.
Sounds horrible.
that's what I'm fucking saying, dude. It's
Yeah.
like,
I'm way past.
When I go to Austin, I went to Austin, Texas, and I slept on my buddy's couch, and I got eaten up by bed bugs or some kind of fucking parasite, and I'm waking up with like sores and shit, and I'm going out and doing like as many mics as I can because I don't want to go back to that couch. And
I'll sleep on the street.
yes, and it was 105. I couldn't do that either, but but god damn it, dude, no, I forgot the point of the story. No,
But no, we're talking about people just singing with you and everything. Like I did karaoke one time, and I can't sing at all. I'm talking about not even close. So it was me and two of the homies. We up there.
it sounded like Ja Rule up there.
It's It's worse. Way worse.
Yo, swear, no, Joe means baby.
Me and two of the homies were singing Usher, Nice and Slow, and there was like women like rest the stage. I was like, oh my god, I forgot the words and everything. I'm talking about they just, and the words are right there. And like
Oh yeah, no, that's what I was gonna get
And I
to.
was like, bro, this is what artists deal with,
Yeah.
and I'm just a dude. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
even
dude,
know what I'm doing.
I don't know how Miguel is still alive.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, dude.
This guy hasn't been mauled, just torn apart.
Just
by-
ripped apart by rabid.
It's wild. It's wild, bro, to hear. these
Tell
guys-
me that that pussy is
I'm telling you,
mine.
these girls are just-
Ah!
Bro,
No, yeah, I remember the point of the story. I have no eyebrows and I have a girlfriend who's my junior. Yeah, no, things are going good. Yeah, learn a few chords, guys.
I'm telling you, if you could, bro, I be telling you all the time, bro. I would trade it all to be able to sing, bro. If I could sing,
You have said that before, but like I don't know,
I've only
like
done karaoke once in my life.
I get into this
Yellow
weird.
Submarine. Nailed it.
Yeah.
I did
Well,
karaoke on this cruise ship one time, and it went as worse as it could possibly be. Like there is no.
people start throwing things.
So this guy went right before me. And
Shitting on the floor?
And this black
Oh.
dude, and I'm talking about he about sunk the boat. This guy was singing so good. People are crying. Like I was like, this guy's a professional. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Then I get there.
that people do take karaoke too
Bro,
seriously.
I get up there and I sing Rick James.
I do
Super
too.
Freak,
Yeah.
and that song is 20 minutes long.
Oh fuck!
Yeah, that's way too long. Yeah, I'm
He's
looking
got a
for,
whole
like-
band, dude. Yeah, you gotta
if I
think.
ever do it again, it'll be like 3 minutes and
And
under.
I am dying. I'm dying. I'm walking people in karaoke. Like people
Ah.
are, we've seen enough. Like people are leaving, bro. Like it
Man.
was the worst.
Back in the day, I used to work at this.
You're gonna sing the national anthem someday, dude.
Back in the day, I used to work
We
at
need
this
you at the beginning of the game.
restaurant. It doesn't exist anymore, Rio Bravo, and they had a karaoke night. And one of the servers, Brad, I remember his name, Brad, and he was a big guy like me, big chunky, overweight guy. And dude, they loved him, right? He would just go up there and like throw down. There'd be like young girls all want to get up with him. He's like, no, this is my stage. He'd be pushing them off, Brad.
That's why God didn't give me that.
Yeah, and then always the one gay guy singing "Take My Breath Away" every week, But
I'm not pushing any woman away. Like I'm up there on stage, they'll just have their way. That's why God didn't give me the.
That's how you.
yeah.
No,
But
dude.
I
That's
mean,
how you
both-
get
I mean,
easy
both of
E
you guys
poisoning,
to me
dude.
always look ridiculously comfortable on stage. You know what I'm saying?
getting
Like
there.
half the time, like both of you guys look like you're having a better time.
Dude, I've just bombed so many fucking times. Like I am.
get it.
I
Like
will say,
it
I
is
will
what it
say
is. Like
nobody bombs quite like Conrad.
really.
I go down swinging.
You're just so good at it.
Oh really?
You're just,
Please. All right. Yeah. No. Let's get into that.
Not to
That's-
say that you're not funny because you're hilarious, but you're just so poised. Like nothing rattles you.
Yeah.
You go up there, you toss your hat on the thing, something you make it. You don't
1 out
make
of
it.
20 times.
You do your jokes, and you're just so. Like if anybody else is bombing, you can see them. You can see smoke coming.
They're
out
like,
of their-
oh, I'm getting hot, and I'm like, no,
they're
like,
spiraling out of
Yeah,
control.
dude.
dude,
So
Grabbing
like,
some stuff.
I've
Brandon Devine's the only one who I've seen be openly booed.
Dude.
Right?
I used to.
Because he implied that Michelle Obama had a dick.
Oh,
Yeah, and that's
You know
not
what
it.
I'm
That's a
saying?
meme.
And to me, that's
Yeah.
not even controversial. It's more old. Like, who's doing Obama jokes?
Well, no, and
nowadays,
then-
right? Hasn't even been in the office forever.
There's only one other guy that I've seen bomb, and it's like the way y'all land is so graceful. Like you didn't even like you're questioning like, yo, did they bomb? There's this guy in Memphis. His name is John Miller. John Miller is just a magician, and like the way y'all handle hecklers is kind of the same. Like John Miller,
Excuse
John
me?
Miller is super polite, but he's rude at the same time.
Yes.
He's like, excuse me, bitch, thank you.
Dude, so one of the first Night Owls that I did something like that. I opened up with a song, and there was like this couple that was making out the whole time. I was like, quiet down, bitch. And then I kept moving on with the song. I don't know. Anyway, John Miller.
John Miller, graceful bombers. Like, and it's just like, not saying that they're not good. I'm just saying, like, I wish I need that type of poise and just self-control to not freak out.
Yeah,
I used to get hot, like
Yeah.
right up here. I used to sweat,
I was definitely.
and maybe I should.
Last week, Coach said Nomads. Like, I thought it was a real quiet room, and it was definitely affecting me.
Nomads
Right? Because
Well-
I'm used to like always getting a laugh, right?
So-
Like, at least at Nomads especially. And man, I'd be saying stuff that I thought would man just be nothing, you know. And then and it's just something I have to get used to, you know.
So, as you say it like that, yeah, I realize what it is. What it is like, experience is, you know, it's going into a foreign environment and without any context of knowing what's going on. Like, I had a huge bomb, like, and I talk about it on stage now. It's like when I went to Dallas and performed for like all Pakistani Indian guys. Like, they didn't know what hockey was. They didn't know what snow was. Like, riding bikes, like, fucking any American anything, like, gone. And it was like, I had, like, you know, the second generation, you know, maybe like 16% of the room, you know, the kids of all these people. And, you know, I didn't feel super bad coming off stage because I didn't have any context for what the fuck was going on in that room beforehand anyway. So, like, the way that I look at it now is like, all right, let's assume that everybody's on Adderall, or let's assume that everybody's on Xanax. That's for a white crowd. Or let's assume that, you know, like,
Yeah.
you know, like, let's assume that everybody fucking, you know, like, as a comedian, you want to knock it out of the park harder than you ever have your entire life, each consecutive set. That's not the case. If you live and die by that, then, like, you're going to suffer. You're going to turn bitter. You're going to be an asshole. And you're going to act like some of the people that I experienced my first year, you know? And I don't want to be that. Like, I'm here to have fun. And if you guys aren't on board with it, like, I'm not trying to, like, so, like, please just, and the other thing is, it's like, there's so many layers to bombing. Like, I've had people throw shit on stage. You know, if everybody's quiet, they still respect you. They're still listening, you know. Like, that's what I've gotten the ventriloquists to. They're intrigued. You
Yeah,
can
right
still win, you know.
Yeah.
That make
You
it
just,
hard for the laugh, though. I ain't gonna lie. People, like, rooms have definitely tightened up. Like, the
well,
Grove-
okay,
Grove
so
last night.
explicitly all white audiences. I realize, I know that they are just like tighter than like a mixed fucking group of any, like, because all I need is somebody to look at who's laughing and enjoying themselves, like, and they don't want to be the first penguin to do that. And
The Grove last night.
How long does your set have to be on that Sunday competition?
20 minutes.
20 minutes.
So they have.
are you doing a different 20 every time?
Yeah.
Shit.
Damn.
So Blake hosted, and man, he was hitting them. He was hitting them with some haymakers, but they were just not laughing.
Right.
And then that Megan King girl got up there, and she worked it out. She got him to loosen up a little bit. And then
Huh.
King, she's out of Dallas. She's
No. I know Megan King. I saw her in Dallas. I love her.
Yeah, no,
She's great.
She's super funny. And then Bryce Stanley went, and I went, and Andy Davis. But like the room like got looser, but hosting at the Grove sometimes, I'm like, man, y'all pay to get in here.
That's exactly it.
Y'all gonna act like
Dude,
this?
no, I've done gigs at fucking, like, so the open mics at the Looney Bin in Tulsa used to be, before the owner died, like $7 to get in. And then if you were really ambitious on a Wednesday in Tulsa, you could hit that. and then you could hit a bar, and then you could hit a gay/goth bar. That'll be a boop. And and yeah, the people who paid $7 to laughed the hardest. It was 13 people in a club that held 150, and that's often what it was. Like, they'd laugh the hardest. People at the bar trying to fuck on a Wednesday, not into it, you know. And then when you get to the gay bar, there's a bunch of that's erroneous censorship stuff, and then obviously I want to piss those guys off because, like, they're not gonna book me anyway.
Yeah, you'll
Like,
never see me again.
why shouldn't I just antagonize the fuck out of them and then make them look like assholes?
What's the best room you've ever done?
Ooh,
Anywhere.
Comedy Corner Underground, Minneapolis, Minnesota.
What made it so great?
It was like whenever people in Arkansas bitch about diversity, you know, Arkansas diversity is black and white and Mexican. All right. I went to the Comedy Corner Underground and I did a set, and it was like, so you sign up at like noon. The lineup gets released at like 5. Shows at like 9. They do a God mic from the back, so there's no time in between. You go up there. It's pretty close to the Kava Bar, dude, except that there's like a monitor hanging from the ceiling with a timer on it, and you get, 4 minutes, and when the clock hits 3, it turns red, and it's pretty easy to fucking see. And the diversity there was not black, white, Mexican. It was like Egyptian, Persian, fucking Mexican, black, white. Like, it was the UN plus gay people. And like, and my little brother and sister were there, and like, this is after, like, oh, what are you doing? For like years, because they live up there, and anytime I hit the wall or you bomb, I was able to turn out of it, because of what I'm trying to do here, It was a joke about selling crack pipes.
Yeah.
That was a test. In Arkansas, they just stand up and cheer, and then everybody, yeah, that was probably, that felt pretty cool, because it was like, I'm looking at like members of my family, and they're like getting on with their life, and I'm like relatively broke, and it's like. And I'm like, here's my little ticket to like, hey, I'm not wasting my time,
I've done a couple. The very first time that I had like a great crowd, it was like I was probably maybe a year into comedy. I was at a comedy joint in Memphis, and we had this little group we started called the COVID Kids. And it was like me and like 4 other guys who started during, 5 other guys started during COVID, and so we had like a little showcase, and man, the place was packed. So the room's not very big, so it's kind of like Carvo, but like more of like a hallway. It's not
Yeah.
like Carvo is like kind of far back. This
like a bowling alley.
yeah, it's
That's like a
very
Tulsa
packed.
building. That's how those
It's
are.
wide.
Yeah.
It's not, you get like 4 rows of chairs, but it's like
Gotcha.
it's wide, and I was opening up.
Oh, so you're like in the middle
Yeah,
of a rectangle.
yeah.
Sucks.
Basically.
All right, not great, but
No, it was it's
good as it could be. I mean, yeah.
And I got up there, and I was basically roasting everybody who went before me. And one of the girls who was on the little comedy thing with us, she had on these like ruby red shoes, and I made a joke about how she looked like the Hood Dorothy, and people lost their minds. Like, I didn't even know that this many black people watched The Wizard of Oz. Like, they were dying. They loved it, and that was like my first.
Black people are American as fuck.
Yeah, they
Actually, like, they get it. Like,
they get everything.
yeah, no, they're. I love them.
And like, it was like,
Awesome.
Yeah.
like when you get a laugh in the black room, bro.
Oh, dude.
God,
Yeah,
it'll blow your shirt
I
back.
wouldn't know, but I believe you.
So
I always just like, if I'm walking and there's a black guy coming, I just give him a head nod. Let him know I'm one of the good ones.
Yeah, I'm
you know?
cool.
So, like-
After that,
Yeah.
one, it was I did a show. So that would probably be like number 3. Number 2, I did Black Apple last week, and the crowd was not big at all.
Yep.
But the people in the crowd were super fun, and like they were laughing at everything. It was good. And number one would be I did a show with Frisco and them at Frida's, and it was like, well, they were packed in this building like sardines, bro. Like the building wasn't very big,
Well,
but that room, that crowd,
Yeah.
it was diverse. It was like maybe 2 black people other than me. It was a lot of Mexicans, white people, and like
actually,
Marco had brought the homies out. Like
Hell yeah.
all his friends are extremely scary.
yeah, I believe that.
Yeah.
Face tatted up.
They
like,
are.
real like Raiders fans, and like they're scary individuals. They had a
Mark.
great time.
Yeah.
But no, that room, that show at Frida's was crazy.
Right on.
The energy, and then like it was the way the room was set up. Like the stage was here. The first row of chairs was like right,
Well,
like they were real close. They were in my face.
as you're saying the story, there was like last October that comedy fantasy camp that I paid a shitload of money to go to. Still paying that off, and
How much was it?
it was fucking $5,000.
No way.
Yeah.
What did it come with?
You talked to Jay Leno in her room, and it was the first year they were doing it. They didn't really, well, no. Like he was in you'd have to be like, anyway, but like, no, I got to perform for 5 minutes at the Hollywood Improv in front of a guy that I'd been listening to since I was like 11 years old. That was pretty cool. Adam Carolla. And one of the other cool parts about that was like, you know, I was asking the camera crew. Okay, so it was crazy. So it's like every once in a while, hosting the open mic, somebody comes through town. They're like, "Oh yeah, I play in L.A." Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, "Sure, dude." And then you go to L.A. and they're like, "Oh, you know Kicker?" You know? I was like, "Yeah." Like, "Can I borrow a guitar, camera guy?" He's like, "Sure. People love musical comedy." And I'm, you know, like I'm coming off of like, you know, going to the Bricktown in Tulsa. "Hey, where could I plug my guitar in?" "We don't do musical acts here." I'm like, all right. You know, get to LA and they're like, "I love that shit." You know, so I played a borrowed guitar, Hollywood Improv. Got to like look at their like sound system, like take a mic off the piano, use it for my thing, and then like do really good in front of a bunch of people that had way more money than I did in front of, you know, this guy that I've been listening to. Well, no, not really. No, I go there once, and the thing about it is that's cool is like if you hang in with like comedy enough, it's kind of funny. It was like I showed up to LA for this thing, and it was supposed to go like Thursday through Sunday. I showed up on Wednesday. I got to an open mic that I can get to on a scooter, because that's what you do. And I show up, and it's, you know, I got the backstory later, but like it's like a regular open mic. It is 9 guys talking to themselves, all comedians, you know. And then the 10th guy walks in, and it's this guy that I've hosted for at the Looney Bin in like 2 different cities, in Wichita and in Tulsa. And I'm like, "Steven," I'm like, "Conrad." You know, you get to feel like you're part of it at a certain point, because like that is what the work is. What you're doing is you're hanging out with a select group of people in a certain like wildly varying number of rooms. And you know, like at the Night Owl thing, you know, there was a couple guys that I met there that the first time I met them was at this open mic at this random bar in Kansas City. Whatever the Sunday mic is, god damn it, I'm gonna forget it. I'll put it in later. But like, yeah, you know, you meet these guys. It's 8 people at an open mic. The next time you see them, everybody's getting danced on stage by an owl and getting money thrown at them. Like, you know, and that's what it is. And that's why, like, a lot of people say you shouldn't be an asshole. But I mean,
You never know who you're running into again. See him anywhere.
the people that you meet on the way up are the people that you meet on the way down. And I you know, I think it was
That's one cool thing about Black Apple. sometimes I've never been big time by anybody like out there, but sometimes like I just kind of feel like you can tell when the conversation's not genuine. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like you're talking to somebody and they're just like, yeah, bro, for sure, bro, for sure. And it's just like, all right, bro, you ain't gotta do me like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's happened before. Some people big time, and it's just like the people who shouldn't even be big timing.
Well,
Marco's cruised my ride up to that gig in Joplin Saturday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Are you on the show with him?
Yeah, the
Right.
puff puff laugh.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's my
Oh,
first.
bro.
That's my first time on Flyer.
Shout out Parker Willis. The Puff Puff Laugh. That was a great room too.
Yeah.
It's an experience, bro. I can't. I
Yeah,
can't
that's
ruin
what
it for you.
Cameron told me it was like the vampire rave scene
Bro.
from Blade, but like weed instead of
I
blood.
can't even.
Nah,
I
dude,
can't
I've-
even ruin
I've-
the
I've
experience
done-
for you. I can't even hint to it.
that's how
You just
Oklahoma was like
Yeah,
2
I'm
years
excited.
ago,
That's
dude.
my first.
Oh
I did
my
a couple
God.
of
That's
shows,
like the first
dude.
time I've been on a Flyer.
Dude,
Dude, it's totally because of Parker. You know, I think it's me, Parker, Marco, and Nick Farrell.
Dude, so
AZ 's not on that? I thought AZ
the-
Oh, AZ, yeah, AZ. That's right, AZ.
the coolest flyer I ever got to make was at this place called Flower to the People. Now it's a bar now, but like it was $10 for entry, free beer at a dispensary, and like we basically didn't make any money on this shit because of this shit in the green room, but it was probably some of the most fun that I've ever had at like a gig.
That room with Parker, bro. So it's $10 to
What's
get in.
Parker's deal, dude? He seems like a grizzly fella. Is he like brand new, or is he like?
He's been doing comedy a while, just in different areas.
I feel like I've seen the name.
He's been. I know he used to live in Joplin. He's been all over. He's lived different places. But I think he's took a break from comedy for a while. Now he's back on it.
Yeah, first time there's one week I hosted at Nomads, and he didn't draw a number. Right,
Yep.
he wrote his name down, but he didn't draw a number, right? So then
Yep.
he ended up going last, and then he had a rough 5 minutes, and I didn't know. Like I thought he was like brand new. So like I spent some time like trying to console him a little bit, because like I always think some people are just too rough on yourself. You get up there, man. You get up there, you're doing better than 80% of the people who talk about getting up there, right? But so then man, like he killed that night. At,
No, dude, he's funny.
Yeah.
The thing is-
the late night show.
Thing is about Parker is I can tell whenever he's talking about something that makes him vulnerable because his face changes shades. You can tell when he's like out there because he's like.
Yeah.
He's like a teenager trapped in a hole. Man.
Yeah, but it's totally, yeah.
Like,
But,
he's
but
a
no, he
kid.
totally approached me about doing your show, and I was just like so flattered that like, because that was one of my big goals for this year. Because I just started doing it back in June.
Yeah.
So
Bro, that
one of my
room.
goals for this year is to get like a book gig, you know,
Oh
like an
my
open
gosh,
mic, you know, and
The crowd. I can't even tell you, bro.
All
I
right.
can't tell you. I will tell you this though. The dude that's making pizzas in there.
yeah, I'm all excited. I'm hoping
That
I
guy
can go
needs
first.
a Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah.
That pizza is so good, bro. Like,
A
I
Peace
know.
Prize.
I'm secretly hoping to go first so I can just enjoy myself the rest of the evening. You
there's
know?
Nobel
so much stuff
Pizza
going on in this
Prize.
room. Like when I was on stage, this old man having a heart attack because he just hit a dab, and I'm talking about he is about to lose. it.
Yeah. No,
He's
I mean
holding
like
on
that
to
sounds
the
like.
dab,
Yeah. Oh, come on, Slick. Get your shit together.
The room is great though, and like it was so funny seeing Cameron Carter in there because it was like you see Cameron Carter in his element, and bro, like he owned it, killed it, and it was like, cause you know the way he talks, kinda
Yeah.
like slow, and he does the little, you know, like they were eating it up.
Really?
Oh my gosh, bro, like he had the people die, and like he was like sitting in his jokes a little longer than he normally does, and like
Yep.
he did that mummy joke, and I had like drink coming out my nose because.
Nice.
He usually does like like the and then it's done. But he held the bro, I was dying.
Yeah, man.
Bro,
I thought he killed
it was so funny, man.
that night. You did the riff show at the late night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he owned that, dude. He was hilarious. That girl was always talking about choking him, remember? And he's
Yeah.
like, "You don't know, I got a strong neck."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, he was another, like he was in rare form. I'm not gonna say rare form, but he was in his element. You know what I mean? Like
Right on.
it's like fighting a water Pokemon in the water. Like,
Sort of like,
he
yeah,
was
sort of
there.
like how if you interview a guy who hits a home run, they don't report hitting the bat any harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a thing.
No, dude was on fire and like really just. I went after him, but the room was already there, and like bro.
Nice. Yeah, he did. He said he had a good time.
And that's why, like,
And
so,
I don't know if it was because I was high.
I mean, did you have a good time?
Yeah, oh, bro.
So, like,
The
I don't-
funniest part about that show is Stephen Reed.
really?
Stephen
He was there?
He had a white privilege outburst. It was so-
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Bro. So the show was over. I think Stephen, he's already funny, but Stephen, when he was on the gas, so he was real trippy, like he was cracking up. So like he just went out of his book. He's
Do I have to bloop this?
No, he's
Okay,
just talking, he's
all
doing
right.
his thing. And so he gets done, and like the whole time he's down here, like not on stage, he was like, "Dang, there was so many things I missed. I should have said this, that." Like the whole time he's just saying all this stuff. He's like, man. And so then at the end of the show, some random like hillbilly dude gets up on stage, and I thought he was a part of the show.
No.
I didn't know who.
No,
this
he's
guy
just a
was.
random hillbilly. Yeah.
Random dude.
Yeah, dude.
Next thing you know, Stephen Reed is on stage kicking this guy off.
Yeah, that's right. He told me that story. Yeah.
Kicking him off, bro.
He's so nice
I'm
too.
talking about this.
Excuse me.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
And he's huge. So
Yes.
He looks intimidating. So he's just like, give it a mic, give it up for this guy, get off the stage. And
By the way,
I thought he was gonna go do more time. I thought he was gonna be like, yo, I should have said. I thought he was gonna run all that stuff that he was just talking about.
he didn't do that.
No, he was just like, man, get up for your host, Parker Willis. You know what I'm saying? And then he comes back with that like, yeah, somebody had to do it. You know what I'm saying?
It's hard to imagine Steven the tough guy,
Father of
right?
the year,
So
dude.
ridiculously
It was,
nice.
bro, it was so funny. Oh my gosh. I said, I can't believe you did that.
Hell
I said,
yeah.
bro, that was like the white, just like, I don't even know what the dude Karen name is.
Hockey.
It
I
came out. It
call
was
them
just-
basketball coaches.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Excuse me, just like that.
Pardon me.
Yeah, I love the fact that Steven Reed and Bryce are buddies, right? Right, because you got like this
Oh my God.
gigantic man, right?
Yeah.
And like, and he's big to me, and I'm a big dude, right? And like, then you got Bryce, the littlest guy.
Have you ever seen, like, what's that character in Mortal Kombat where there's an ogre and a dwarf? There's one of them. All right, I'm gonna boop that, and then I'll put the picture. I'll put the picture
No,
when I'm
hands
done.
down, the funniest part of the show. The funniest part. And then like the old dude that got kicked off stage, he was acting like kind of weird at the end of the show. So like I see Steven, he's like looking over his shoulder, and I'm like, bro, what's up with you? He was like, man, that old dude, man, he's everywhere. I was like, okay. And he was like, this is what cracked me up. He was like, oh, Joe, I'm so glad you're out here. I feel safer now. I'm a dude. And he was like, that old dude, if you try something, man, like, we should leave right now. And I was like, Steven, if that old man comes over here, you gotta fight him. You got to.
Right. No.
You gotta beat that old man up.
Highlander rules, dude. Yeah.
So you kicked him. He's like, bro, we gotta get out of here. I was like, Steve, he's too big to be.
He's so nice, man.
It was so
Yeah,
funny.
there's only
Oh my god.
yeah, there's only like one time I got mad, and you know, you feel free to bloop it. It's about Brandon Devine, but and, you
Yeah.
know, he's called me like,
I'm gonna have
you know, he
to-
talked about me being fat and old before. He even implied I was on the Epstein Island list one time, right?
I have to
But
pee
then
now.
like
Hold
one
on.
time I don't know why it got to me, man, but it did. Like he implied that I was a bully. He talked about being bullied. He's like, "Oh, Big Mike, you probably were bullied, right?" That shit pissed me off, man, because I've always been a nice guy.
Yeah.
So then I was like, ha, you know. And then he said it again. He's like, "No, you're probably a bully." I was like, "Hey, man, after show we go across the street, you can find out what kind of bully I am." You know, that's the only time I've been mad. You know.
Yeah, it's and I know why you're mad
Yeah.
because you're like it's coming from you. Like, you know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Shut up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, he means well, man. Brandon.
I like Brandon. I mean, you know, I know what to expect.
I be trying to tell him all the time. Just I wish he would just
You know,
cut all his hair off. So, man, I
yeah.
gotta get. I
that
gotta
crazy
get
dude, that picture they use all the time for Club 509 for the open mic, that picture of him in that beret
Yeah.
and that black turtleneck.
Yeah,
And it's like
yeah.
the craziest. It is the
He doesn't even
craziest
look like
thing.
Brandon Devine.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess like I don't give a shit about being fat. I used to be fatter, and I know I'm old, but like, man, call me a bully. I don't know. It's like
Bullies
that's like my
right all
character, right? You know.
I've always
And
been
just because
nice.
it's implied, because I'm big, right? But nah. No.
I got you got your phone on you?
Yeah.
What time is it?
Man.
I'm gonna have to get out of here.
Yeah, we should be close to 4:45.
Oh, I'm good till 5.
Yeah.
I'm good till 5.
I didn't even.
I've been
I
tired.
texted him to tell him I was gonna. Cause normally I work a double, so I texted him to say I was gonna be at the open mic tonight, and then he's like, "You want to do a podcast?" And I was like, "Sure." And then he's like, "Come to Waystone now." Like, you know,
Right.
I've been home like maybe 15 minutes. You know.
Yeah.
Didn't have time for the full beautification process.
Yeah, the process for this has been pretty fluid. I forgot to flush the toilet. Yeah, no. Shout out to Kyle Real and his poor little girl with Crohn's.
Oh, man. I was really hoping to see Kyle. I ain't seen Kyle real in a long time.
That's what I was saying, dude.
I ain't seen my man in a minute, man. Oh, Kyle real. He cracks me up.
Yeah, I do too. Carol's a good guy.
He does that.
One of my funniest bits involved Kyle Real. I talked about how like I'm always trying to shake his hand outside for so Freaky Friday scenario. The sort of
Just want to switch lives with you.
yeah.
I just want
It's all
your
part
hair.
of my Big Mike Freaky Friday weight loss program.
I just want your hair, Kyle.
I give you my body for a year to get into shape, and I give you yours back all riddled with chlamydia and fraternity suits.
I used it.
Because if I look like Kyle Real, I'm fucking.
Yeah, dude. Till the rims come off, dude.
It's the hair, bro. It's like he's always doing.
Yeah.
I hate when people that have hair keep doing that. I'm like, bro, we get it. All right, stop doing that.
Well, like, yeah. You don't have to do it.
Yeah, you don't have to.
No. Timothy
What
Timothy Chalamet's gonna go bald, dude.
What happened to we were just talking about him.
Lyle King.
The dude, yeah, Lyle King.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. I hadn't seen him in a
The
while.
Pimp, man.
He had a neck surgery,
I remember that.
and then he survived. And I don't know. I mean, we're talking about a guy that, like, during the best of times was living in a hut in the woods, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
You didn't know that? He
Oh,
talks about
yeah.
that. Yeah.
He's got one of the funniest jokes ever. Just the bit, and then he sticks with it, which makes it so funny.
What, where he eats a
And now
pepper
that-
and then pukes into a...
No, and now that he's living in the woods, it makes sense now.
Oh.
He's like it's a joke about birds mating calls, and like he's doing like different calls, and he was like, but they're really saying fuck me. He was just yelling that, and I was like, bro, this dude is like the joke is so stupid. It's just funny to me. I'll be laughing at anything, but that dude is funny. And like the first time I seen him eat the pepper, and when like he like pulled it out of his pocket, he was
Where was that?
treating it like it was a bomb. It was at Bugsy's. He was doing a set and it was going terribly.
That was not the first one.
Yeah, and he was just like, all right, reaching his pocket. He was like, no, Pepper, I'll do it right now. I swear to God, I'll do it right now. And everybody was like, no, I'll do it.
Not real. I always enjoy him, dude. He's definitely got kind of like that Andy Kaufman type of vibe.
Dude is funny, man.
You know, and
There's a couple guys like
Who's
that.
the funniest, like-
One time he showed up and he had this whole thing planned. He told me, and then like there was this woman in the crowd who brought a bag of soup with her to the nomad.
Bag of soup?
Yeah, I
is
think it was
wild.
Xavier's date, and, yeah, he couldn't do his
soup.
bit about hating himself for dating white women since she was a white gal, but
What kind of bag?
it was like a Ziploc bag, like one of those like
freezer bag?
gallon bags,
Oh,
right?
man.
Okay. Not like a gas station bag.
Yeah.
No, that would be no, that would be. But it threw him off, right? He
Yeah,
couldn't-
I'm
he
just-
couldn't get off it, right? And he was hilarious, man, just going back and forth. with her.
Somebody buys soup like they buy
Before I get out
weed.
of here, I want to do a couple of like, you know what I'm saying? Ask you guys a couple of questions real quick. Who is to you? You can't include yourself. Who is like the hottest up and coming right now? Like who would you give props to?
And I think Marco Antonio is probably one of them. You know, I think Mike Maron too. You know, for like the younger guys. You know.
I mean, like, I don't know. What do you classify as like up and coming?
Like not super, like hasn't been doing it for years.
Okay.
Steven Reed too. I mean, he hasn't been that long, right? I mean,
Stephen Reed's picking it up pretty quick. Yeah, Mike Moreau, certainly. I mean, who am I hosting that I don't have to worry about? I mean, I'd say like, shit, everybody's improving except for like a few. That's like
If I had
that's
to
one
pick-
of the reasons I like keep
if I had to
hosting
pick
shit.
3, excluding you, if I had to pick 3 up and coming, I would definitely say. I don't know how long Mike has been doing it. I feel like I've known Mike a little longer.
I'd say it's probably
About
like
18 months. I
3
think.
years, maybe.
Maybe close to 2 years.
Yeah, I would
From what
say.
he told me.
Like the newer. I would say Susan Bird.
Oh yeah,
Susan
fucking
Bird
A, dude.
for
Susan
sure.
Bird, yeah.
Susan Bird is,
No, yeah,
it's
yeah,
like-
no.
I think
Susan
she
Bird.
started
Susan
after
said.
me.
Reed and
Susan Bird's a duck to water with this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stephen Reed and Marco.
Yeah.
Okay, so out of those 3, right?
Yeah.
Susan Bird, Stephen Reed, and Marco. What would you like to see out of them?
I can't. Doesn't matter what I think.
I'm
I
just
mean,
saying, what do you think would help them?
oh, I mean, like,
Like,
well,
if you could give them a note, like, what would you say?
I mean, everybody's got like a different.
Everybody's got their own style.
Okay, so like, the only thing that I would really criticize is like the process that they use to come up with the stuff. You know, like I have a fanny pack with multiple notebooks in it, and like butterflies, I'll catch them and then write it down, and now I got a new joke, and you know, or if something works that it came off the top of my head, and I check the tape and I find it, that's mine now. You know, like just like the only note that I'd give to somebody is to give themselves as many opportunities as they can to succeed. Anytime anything that works that you didn't expect, if you can remember it, capture it, something like that. I mean, that's ammunition, in for lack of a better term. I mean, like that's, you know, and everybody has like a different way of doing that. You know.
I tell Marco is like super. He's so critical on himself, like super. Like when you Marco at open mic,
Yeah.
and then Marco at a show, 2 different Marcos. Marco at a show is, you know what I'm saying, like I gotta this that. But Marco at open mic is.
Yeah, he's relaxed. Yeah.
So I'd be like, yo, bring open mic Marco to
Right.
the show. Like,
No, I mean, and that's
because I feel like him and Steven have what I call, they've got a command presence. They're big dudes. So like when you walk up here, people are already expecting confidence from you because y'all big as hell. You know what I'm saying?
well.
And then you start talking, and then Marco's kind of like he's here, like he's kind of like balled up. I'm
Well,
like, relax, 'cause he's super funny.
One of the things that I think that every comedian can aspire to be, and there's like less than 5 of these guys in the country. Like it's just like Dave Attell came to town, Tulsa, and Julie Drake told him about Tulsa for an hour, and then Dave Attell went up on stage and just talked about Tulsa for an hour and crushed. Like you're talking about getting to a level of comfort on stage where you can just be, and that is super unnatural.
What keeps
Like-
people from that though? You know what I'm saying?
Experience.
Like why would
No, it's experience. It's the same reason I can keep my shit together when I'm bombing. It's because I know this works. Like my mom loves me. Like so, you know, yeah, you motherfuckers.
I feel myself getting closer to that.
Yeah.
Because I remember, like, when I first started, I was just like everybody else, and I tell them, you know, I was super critical. Like, I'd write my jokes down word for word, and I would want to say them word for word. And if I missed a word, it'd mess me up.
Man,
You know what I'm saying?
I've talked about it before. I think one of the benefits for me of doing stand-up is I've had to like deal with a lot of my insecurities because I'd be like I'd have a good set and I just hate it, right? I'd love writing it, and as soon as I perform, I'm like that sucked. And it'd be a good set, you know. So then I started realizing like I did that a lot to myself in other areas of life, you know. So it's kind of helped me with that because I'm always overcritical. Like I cook food for a living on food I cook, but definitely, man. My sister lives in Arizona. She's like, video your act so I can see it, and I forget someone videoed it. Man, just watching my fat ass walk up this stage, I was like, fuck that. I can't even watch it, but it's helped me deal with it.
Well, that's a natural thing. Like, one of the benefits I feel, nobody likes the sound of their own voice when it's recorded.
Yeah, for sure.
That's normal, right? And
Yeah.
one of the benefits that I feel like I have with the alopecia thing is that the fucking unnamed avatar up there does not look like the person that I actually think that I am. Like, and there's a disconnect there. Like,
I feel like the more vulnerable you are, like the more you open up,
right.
the funnier you are.
Well, there's a distinct.
I mean, not like on no like weird like gross stuff. But just,
Right.
like,
If you
I'll talk
lead,
about
if
my
you lead
kids.
to, if you go too hard on that end, like on the front end, like you turn it into a therapy session, then yeah, that sucks.
Like, whenever we talk about
But
my kids sucking at sports, I feel like it's not funny because like man, who wants a kid to suck? But it's just like the fact that I care about it. People are like, oh, that is funny
right.
because like it bothers him that much, and it does bother me. And people are like always like, oh, I bet you're hard on your kids. I'm really not. I just don't like to be like nobody wants to be the parent of the sorry kid. You know?
Well, I mean, like I don't know, put him in Quiz Bowl or some shit.
I've been trying, bro.
I don't know. I had a fucking argument with my parents when so I got my ass kicked by some Canadians like twice, concussions, like
Like fist fight.
no, like on the ice, like just like regular play, like getting fucked, and I didn't like get knocked off. Like there was one moment where I got a concussion against these guys that lived in a fucking town where like the main export is hockey, goddamn sticks. They get around on snowmobiles, these natives, and this is all they know, right? So you step into that territory. I got my bell rung without like getting knocked off my feet. The coach chewed me out, and I do this on stage sometimes, but like he chewed me out in between periods, and I was like, oh. Yeah, I think something's wrong too. Yeah, and it was. And like shortly after that, I got into like speech, like debate, and the big takeaway that I had was that I was able to win the debate. I went to this like meet with like 350 people. It was the first one I'd ever gone to. I won the gold medal. I didn't know what everybody's supposed to wear suit jackets. I'm up there in my winter coat, like with my hockey hair, like what the hell's going on here? And yeah, I don't know. I've been taking it and running like with that like ever since. But
Dude, I played football from 4th grade all the way through graduating high school. And so when I started playing, that's the 70s, right? To me, I always liked the story. And some play happened, man, like someone's fingernail or something, like scratched me underneath my eye. So when I took my helmet off, when I got out of sidelines, there's blood on my face, right? My mom's just like, goes into like mom bear mode. Coach catches her before she gets to me. And when the coach comes to me, he's like, I was like, hey, coach. I'm like, 4th grade, like, how old are you? I'm very young. I'm like, hey, coach, am I going to be okay to play? He's like, you better be, because I just told your mom you were, and you don't want to make me a liar.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I never got to play Pee Wee football, but I played like other sports, baseball, basketball. So I didn't play football until I got to high school, and I was trash. And I just got tired of being trash. So that's what I'm trying to tell my kids. Like at some point in time, you gotta be tired of second. You know what I'm saying?
or well, I don't know. Like when I first started stand up, I was not a duck to water. I was like a Brandon or something like that.
But you
I
had,
would.
you had to keep going though.
No, I did though, and I did under like I don't know, extraneous circumstances like pandemic, zero support, and the only reason that I kept doing it was because like I had already failed at starting a podcast, failed at putting together like a couple of bands, like was comfortable with not being great at the start. My bet with this whole entertainment shtick is that regardless of whatever it is that you want to do, even if you're the insane clown posse, if you put it together and do something regular for a period of about 10 years, you're probably going to keep doing that. Like, right. So, like, I don't know.
All right, so we've got 3 people. They're doing great. Who will be cutting? Gotta cut somebody.
I don't think we got to cut anybody.
Who are we kicking off?
No, we ain't got to kick nobody off, dude. No, we gotta maybe, like, coach them, see if they can. I mean, like, I don't think that we're not rich enough that we can cut
Who
people.
you cutting?
Like,
I'm cutting myself.
if there's
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's me too, right? Yeah.
I'm sick
I
of
always
that
think
guy.
everybody does better than me, you know?
I'm sick of that guy. Because, like, sometimes I feel like, all right, so if I go to an open mic and it's just comedians in there, I really don't do my material. I might go up there and just talk.
just
And
bullshit.
hopefully I can find something in just what I'm talking about. I might
Right.
work on one joke, but I'm just trying to get a rep at that point. But I'm trying to get away from that. I want to do the material.
Well, one of the things that during the pandemic, I started a band, and every Sunday you'd get to perform for the same 8 people. It was kind of like open mic, except nobody else was going on stage. They're just hanging out because that's all there fucking is to do. And that is basically what open mic is. Like, if you're trying to impress the other comedians, you can't do anything twice in a row. You can't. I mean, you just have to. I mean, and that's one of the reasons it's a challenge. It's just that, like, and one of the reasons I like, Club 509, not to circle back, but it's like whenever you get 4 regular fucking people, it can turn into a show, and that's really all it takes and that's one of the biggest differences between, here, what you think is saturated, and what is actually saturated.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Like,
but
if you go to
I like-
Austin, like,
Yeah,
I like the
bigger
idea
cities, I
of
know.
like somebody putting on like but it's just so hard to do, but like a limit, right? Like get here early, 15 spots,
They used
right?
to do that at this place
know?
in Memphis called PNH.
I mean, 'cause, like last week at Nomads there was 25. I hope that's a lot. I remember
and that's when they should, like, shorten the sets. But if they're gonna rotate hosts, then not everybody knows to do that, and
Sure.
blah blah blah.
This place
And
called PNH in Memphis. They used to have a sign up. They go live at like noon. You have to sign up on Facebook, and they cut the list at like 20 people, or like 15, something like that. And so like sometimes you got on the list, sometimes you didn't.
actually, dude, so like, yeah, no, that was like getting back to like my favorite set. That's exactly what it was. It was like out of towners get preference. And I was like, well, I don't live here anymore, and I only come back like once a year. It's like one of my favorite things to do, and also, like, if you're dealing with something like that, if there is that much of a genuine demand, then you can start to make up rules. I tried to cut line at a random bar for karaoke so I could class up the joint with a Frank Sinatra song, and I handed the guy 5, and he demanded a 20. Karaoke. Yeah, dude. That's why I want to start doing bingo. But
Yeah,
think-
people go crazy for bingo. I don't know.
people
what
go
it is.
fucking nuts for bingo, dude.
They do
Mark
bingo
41.
out
Holy
there-
shit.
Out there in Tony Town,
yeah.
bro. The whole city be out there. Like on Wednesdays, like when the weather's good.
I want to
at the
inject.
winery.
I want to inject like shitty comedy and trivia into bingo.
So I want to
And
do
then
bingo comedy.
I want to do like, okay, so I got this idea. I want to call it Blue Shell Bingo. All right, patent pending. And so imagine there's a camera. Everybody's got a phone. Imagine everybody's got a camera on their card. And there's a display with everybody's card. And then anybody who gets a square gets entered into a trivia contest. And how do you write trivia questions? Start with the answer and work backwards. For example, French Revolution. What was that one time all those fucking like smelly dudes got hyphy and started cutting each other's heads off? Like, and that's where you do the writing, right? If you get the question right, you can pick a square. Everybody else gets it, or you can take one away from the supposed leader. Which everyone can look at. And the whole idea is to start a riot. Like,
My bingo idea was, like, kind of got this from my baby shower game. So we got these blank bingo cards, and you fill in the squares with topics.
Yep.
And if you're listening to the open mic or the show or whatever, and whatever you hear,
Trauma.
yeah,
Center square. Free.
and then whoever gets get a bingo
Yeah.
that way. I feel like that'll be fun.
Yeah, open mic bingo. Thought of that too.
Way to keep people engaged, but we gotta have some.
But that's like, and that's why I don't know, to get that level of participation from people for free is gonna be a big fucking
There's gotta be
ask.
something. You gotta win something. There's gotta be a T-shirt.
That's what I'm saying. You gotta have
Beer,
charge
There's gotta be something.
something.
Cause at the winery they don't charge nobody. Do they? No, they don't charge nobody. They just be out there kicking it. They be them wineritas off the chain. Those be out there leaning. They be drunk, and it just be a bunch of rich white people.
Yeah,
bingo
no,
all day.
that's what I'm saying. Like if you could just inject your. So I did a gig for a burlesque show, right? Titties for sale, you know.
I gotta go after this. No, but I'll listen to the story.
It was titties for sale, and yeah, we'll wrap it up with this. Did a gig in Tulsa, burlesque show. You know, there was so few people in the audience that everybody got upgraded into VIP, and next door they were doing bingo, and because I was sick, you know, I went and checked out bingo night. Sure as shit, dude. Bingo night was popping, like wall to wall, shoulder to shoulder, like parking lot packed. You know, we got tassels over here, and nobody's they're doing bingo.
Yeah.
So,
People love bingo. I don't know what it is. I hate bingo.
so if we can infiltrate that, yeah, bingo, karaoke, and college sports are the biggest enemies of comedy on
I
here.
hate bingo.
So if you can
Yeah,
figure,
I don't see what the appeal is.
Cause like if you're close to winning, so is somebody else. Like there's no way.
right? So imagine you could,
Everybody
imagine,
gets one piece. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
imagine somebody could fuck somebody else up.
Yeah.
That would start a fight between old ladies. That'd be great. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's been the show. Thank you for tuning in with Joe Means and Big Mike and Conrad Lensmeyer signing off for the as yet untitled podcast.